I'm Jambari Moreau. We have Justice Collins. Yes, Justice Collins. Making sure I'm saying that properly. How you doing?
That's it. I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. And we also have Jordan Ma in the building once again.
How's it going?
Everything is good. Everything is good. So let's start. So today, obviously, we had the WNBA week, WNBA season just started. And one of the biggest, I guess, shell-shocking moments happened with the flagrant foul between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Obviously, a lot of backlash there, etc. But I wanted to know, what do you feel like the WNBA needs to do in order to make arenas safer for Black women athletes such as Angel Reese? And anyone who wants to take... Oh, actually, I'm going to go with Justice. She is a Black woman, speaking of which, so we'll go with her first.
Yeah, for sure. That topic just it's just, oh my goodness. My question honestly is like, what can we do? You know what I mean? Like, that's a great question because I'm in the same position. It's like, what do you do? Especially if it's not like especially at the NBA level and things like that, when it's not an isolated incident, but in arenas, they'll pinpoint one person. If it's happening, kick them out.
Right.
If it is not entire, because it's not everybody, but if there is a multitude, you can't kick everyone out. Somebody I've heard, I posed that same question in my live. People are like, fine them. And I'm like,
Find the team. That's a good one. That's a good idea.
But we find the Indiana Fever. They're looking like, what are we supposed to damn?
They got to police their
people.
You know
what I mean? We can't help
Do they?
our fan base is reckless.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Keep going. But that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I'm asking how.
They can they can hire an uptick of security monitoring and etc. They can get them monitoring and saying, okay, this person got to go. This person got to go. This you gotta go. You gotta go.
Well, there goes.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. But I mean, so I saw a post, and Justice, if you have more, please continue because I wasn't trying to hide.
No, that was it. Because I don't have a solution. That's kind of where everybody's at, as in what do you do? You know what I mean? What is the solution? Because again, this is a little different than the NBA and NFL, soccer, things like that, where you guys have normalized this behavior as this is the norm. People are, when you go to a Celtics game, you're going to get called everything but a child of God. And nobody bats an eye.
Yep.
Yeah. In the WNBA, we have never experienced something like this. So people obviously are caught off guard, yo, this is, hey, you guys need to do something. And so now they're at a crossroads, as in, again, we're entering new territory in the WNBA with a situation we've never dealt with before. How do you handle it moving forward? It reminds me kind of like the Sedona Brent situation. A new situation where, hey, do you draft, again, you are at a crossroads. How do you handle this situation? And I don't think people know what to do in this situation because it's uncharted territory.
Well, just to kind of add to what you were saying, so the WNBA right now, I mean, it hasn't been doing much, but what they do is they leave cards inside of every single seat before the game, like fan conduct cards, expecting what they expect. And then they also have numbers so other fans can call in and say X, Y, and Z is happening. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, what I was thinking, just because you just sparked an idea while I was talking, I'm like, just hire more added security. If you need to have people walking the rows and have fans that can flag people down and say, hey, this person's doing this and that, let's get them up out of there and kind of just change the culture. That would be the first thing that I could think of, honestly.
But would you add that for every single game that's going on? Increase security for every single game, or just the larger
things about to happen? When you see people in the stands wearing big fake lashes to mock Dejanay Carrington,
right?
That can be taken as jest, but it also could be taken as racist stereotypes as well. Yeah. When you have I wasn't at the game, so I don't know what they were not saying regarding the investigation.
Right.
But if you see fans that are acting, obviously out of bounds, then it's time to kind of work on that.
But the difficulty with that too, though, in my opinion, is that requires Indiana to assume responsibility, as in we are the problem. And right now, I've never Indiana Fever. I've never actively heard them say our fans are the problem. They kind of taptoed around it or not address it at all. Have you ever heard in an interview been like, yeah, our fans are the issue?
Well,
Never.
I mean, they weren't doing this with Tamika catching, so I don't know if it's the fans or just racist in general that want to just use their platform to just be like,
Yeah, no, for
I don't,
sure. That's
I
what it
wouldn't say
is.
it's
But
like
like,
fever. I feel like racist. Not saying you can be racist in a Fever fan. I'm just saying like I feel like because I don't want to say all Indiana Fever fans are like this because they're
they're
not.
not. They're
Yeah,
definitely
No.
not.
yeah.
But my question is that if the WNBA was to implement that, that would require them to directly say that the Indiana Fever fan base is an issue because they're not implementing added security at all the other 12 other teams, are they?
Right. That's kind of what I was getting at. I mean,
And I don't know
what else could a league do,
because
other
this is
than
not a league wide
yeah,
problem.
right.
Nobody else is having this issue with any other team. And I've never actively heard the Indiana Fever front office, any coach players come out and, you know, acknowledge that their fan base, not everybody, but they have bad characters in their fan base that do make for a hostile environment for some players. I have never, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I think that's where the problem is going to lie. Because you don't want to, I don't think Indiana Fever want to alienate their fan base. You know what I mean? Like, not like we're a united front, but like, now we have to stick our feet in the sand and draw a line and be like, hey, we no longer want your guys' support. And they've never actively come out and, you know, said anything along those lines. Unless I'm wrong.
You think
Now
if they did
they've disavowed, hey, you guys shouldn't be doing this, but they've never said my fans are doing this.
do
They've
you,
just said people shouldn't be doing this.
you think if they did that, they're scared of offending their own fan base?
Boom.
I feel like they'll have enough fans regardless that they
Do
won't.
you think they're worried of criticizing their own fan base for fear of losing them? Because overall, this whole league is not in an advantageous financial position. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have like the upper hand necessarily. I know
I
like
don't
things
feel
are
like
going
they'll
up,
lose all of
everything's
their
trending
fans
up, but
because they're
like
not all racist.
I
But
know,
here's
but
the
you think
thing,
that
but
like we're scared of like like there like do you think that there's a fear of criticizing and maybe losing some of the fan base, you
Lose them,
know?
lose them.
we
Okay.
already know the
You can lose
WNBA
the
really
twenty
doesn't care.
percent and then get the
WNBA
new
doesn't
20% back
care.
in.
They don't care. That
Yeah,
the
that's true.
Chicago Sky Fever game, what brought in 2.3 million people,
Right.
right? Do
It
you
was
think the WNBA
2.7
would like
million, I think. Yeah. It was a lot.
care? We care. We care. They don't care.
Then
We're still talking
Oh
about
yeah,
this.
we
It's
care.
driving ratings. Like I'm the first person to be like, this rivalry is so like trash, 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 trash. But if you drama, people love drama. People love drama. It's a not organic, right? Like all that stuff is true. I think both things can exist in the conversation at the same time. Yes, this rivalry is not healthy. It's not conducive. It really doesn't make any sense. But it's fueled by drama. It is fueled by drama, and drama makes money. And I think at the end of the day, the WNBA cares more
it's
about
just
making money
okay.
than the
No,
other thing.
you kind of cut out, but it's definitely fueled by drama because the on court they're not there yet. Like they're not. Chicago gotta kind of they gotta do better again in these types of
Yeah,
games.
like it's not about the competition.
Oh,
Like,
no, it's not yet. Not yet. Not
yeah,
yet. It's not. Not yet. Not yet.
it's all
But
about drama.
what I will say, and I'll ask that question up next. But what I'll say just to add, so I asked AI. I said, AI, what are some things that could be done? They said empower players and coaches to signal officials, make real time public service announcements, display. They put this was interesting. Display people that are acting obviously racist or microaggressive, put them on camera and put them on camera being escorted out of the arena, so it sets the example for
Mm.
other people. Train in-game staff and announcers. Let's see, support players in the moment, post-game responses, and that was pretty much it. But they're saying that it shouldn't just be the play through it type of era. So
I think that Justice hit on a lot of like really interesting things, which lead to like the next question. Because it's like I think overall, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like player fan, like the relationship is kind of like deteriorating and getting a little bit more aggressive. Did you see like, or fans are just getting more raucous? Like, did you see the video of the Knicks fans throwing the garbage bags at the Pacers player? I mean, the Pacers fan. Did you see that? in the streets of New
They
York.
jumped him. There was like 50 of them, and they jumped
Yeah,
him.
they like jumped him to the point where
Uh,
Tyrese
Halliburton
Halliburton
had to give him
is
tickets.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's flying him out to game 4, you
yeah.
know? But like philosophically, I feel like just because there's
Suns and
drama,
four. Suns and four.
Suns and 4,
You know what I'm
I
talking about?
no, but I feel like just because there's I know that like this is not the reason we should be watching the WNBA, this drama between Reese and Clark, but it's good for ratings, one, and two, I mean, I just think of like in the last like 6 years or so, there's been this uptick in watching F1 racing. Like most people I feel like don't really care. I shouldn't say they don't really care, but they're but the interest in the actual sport is secondary to the drama. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know if it's necessarily bad if we're modeling the success of this league to other leagues in general. And furthermore, there's this whole thing, we're leading into the next topic, Jambari, where it was like, is it like should we try to
Go ahead and
like
read off the next question.
okay, how
But
should
I
the
do have
WNBA balance promoting Caitlin Clark's stardom with elevating the rest of the league? Go ahead,
Let me
Justin.
just
but
say this
before
right
we get
quick.
there, I did have a or a comment to
Go
make.
ahead. Go ahead.
We should not be, this is not normal behavior. Just because this is what takes place in the NBA and that you guys have normalized this as being funny and wow, players should not be going to their job being called bitches and hoes and a whore
Oh,
and
for sure.
everything the child
For
of God
sure.
over a game.
Absolutely.
Like the NBA, the fact that people are fighting in the streets, the WNBA, there's no fights with fans in the stand. Like the
Not yet.
fact that we
That's
we
gonna
keep
happen.
keep keep,
It's
but
gonna happen.
like that shouldn't be the normal behavior. So
I
the
agree.
question isn't that we should be like lowering the standard and emulating and being like, well, this is what they do in the NBA, this is what they do in the NFL. This is like you guys are that's weird. Like at the end of the day, that is weird
Oh yeah,
behavior.
like I mean, like we
And you
don't
guys should
condone
not
it.
I
No, no,
know
no.
we're not condoning, but
Suns
by
and
saying,
four.
but essentially we kind of are condoning it or normalizing it, as in like, well, this is just what happens, and this is just at the hands of growth that you guys just have to kind of shut up and because like, should we just like it's good for business at the detriment of Angel Reese's, whatever,
Mental health.
like yeah, like for growth, like because y'all ain't gonna call her a martyr. You're not gonna give her twos and ones 10 years from now and be like, "Dang, Angel, I appreciate you for taking one for the team and allowing all that racism stuff to go down to grow the WNBA." Like that's not what the rhetoric's going to be. So like, I just never am going to be the person to be like that is normal behavior that we should definitely be like in the WNBA. Be like, guys, hey, this is what it is. You know what I mean? We're going to invite all these fans in, and that is what the norm in the W is going to be because that's never what this league has been about. This is never what that league has been established about. And I do not think that is the trajectory that we should be, inviting in at the hands of growth. Like this is weird. Like jumping somebody in the jumping. And I think what's the difference in the WNBA too is there's so many people. Yes, we have people who are stands of their whatever team and stuff, but a lot of people just enjoy everybody. The WNBA players are a lot more tangible as well than
Yeah.
other leagues. Like you saw today, Alicia Gray is tweeting back and forth with fans. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? About that, we're a lot more tangible. So that's different. As in, I haven't seen Tyrese Halliburton on Twitter talking to anybody. You know what I mean? I haven't seen, I had Sydney Colson come in my live and chopped it up with fans for like they're a lot more tangible. So it's a different dynamic in relationship. And people are like, well, they need to stay off of social media. What makes the WNBA so unique and special, I think, as well, is just the direct ability to get
Access.
into the players and
Yeah.
access.
Yeah.
And you have to take that in consideration as well when dealing with this conversation. Is the WNBA has a different type of access to players that we do not see in the NFL and the NBA. So it's not as easy just to close your ears and don't listen to the words and stuff like that. Like that's not realistic. So how do you handle that dynamic from there? Because it's a different league. So people trying to change the WNBA and telling us to do whatever the NBA does are failing to realize we have very different dynamics in this league than the NBA that you also have to throw into the conversation.
So
I
it's
think
not.
access is going to become more limited though as the game grows,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
as
Players are
as
going to be
comments as
eliminated for some
comments
reason.
by Kathy Engelbert. I mean, I don't think she seems to have a problem with this at all. You know,
Nope.
I mean, from the
Scared money don't
her
make money.
comments at the end of the year, and she had an hour long interview on the Bill Simmons podcast where she didn't seem too upset by it. Not that there was any direct line of questioning by it, but I mean, really, it was all answers about growth and getting investors and growing the league in terms of valuation. I think that is the mindset and what they're interested in primarily. You guys could listen to it for yourselves if you if I totally misquoted her.
Nope.
But what I
Cassie thinks
what I
scared money
will
don't make money.
yeah,
No,
I
I'm
mean,
saying
but
scared money
the
don't
only
make
thing
money.
is, it's not just the WNBA problem. Like you're saying, like the standards aren't going to get lowered, but as the league grows, they kind of are because you're inviting more people in to watch the game that weren't watching it before for whatever reasons, and then everybody's raised differently because it's not just the NBA problem where you got fans fighting each other talking about Suns and four. You you have that happen in the NFL games. It happens in the MLB. It happens in soccer. Soccer's probably one of the worst
Soccer's the
sports.
worst one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
soccer's probably one of the worst ones. So it's
yeah.
like, and these are all popular sports. So as it grows in popularity, you're just gonna have more people. College basketball, I mean, I don't know if they fight per se. Like that probably might be the only one where I really haven't seen like it get as rowdy.
What about Christian Leitner back in the day in Reddick?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I hated
But
them
my
too.
question, okay, well, there's a question. Those are all men's sports. You know what I mean?
no,
I
oh, yeah, good point. That's a fair
That's
point.
all men's sports. So is it that we're inviting? And again, I'm just a question. Are we inviting men into spaces and y'all can't handle y'all emotions and start being weird? Like, because that's when I no dead ass. Because like
No, it's
when
funny.
I made that comment in on X, because like somebody posted a video about the fever and them asking them what do you think about Angel Reese before the game, and it was like
Hated it. Hated it.
ghetto whore da 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 da.
Hated it.
And someone commented was like, is this normal behavior? And then all I had was men in my responses being like, yeah, this is what we do. This is normal. Like, this is, someone said they were going to R word somebody's kid, like sister on a poster. And I'm like, you guys think that is normal? And then they get mad because they said the W have fans who are trying to gatekeep, but they're trying to gatekeep because that's not what the league is about. So at the hands of growth and stuff like that, like you just listed a bunch of men's sports where I have not seen, again, a plethora of women being the ones,
Oh no,
not seeing.
women are definitely
Oh yeah,
getting.
yeah, yeah, for
I know
sure.
people personally who get inactive at these Dolphins games that are women.
But if the
I know, yeah.
but if the WNBA establishes though off rip, that's not how we get down. Do you think that fans will follow? Because right now we're seeing this. You know what I mean? You have a handful of fans telling you this is not what we want. This is not, and then you have another handful of new fans or new people who are like, y'all need. This is how we get down when we support teams. You know what I mean? This comes with the territory of growth.
Well,
So what do
fan is short for fanatic, but there has to be a level to your.
There might not be
sure.
enough financial support amongst like well-trained fans to support a league like this then.
What do you
That
mean
I
by
mean
that?
that's sadly that's the bottom line. I agree with your overall thesis and like what you're trying to say. I I mean we all agree with what you're trying to say, but it's like
For sure.
economically there might not be like there might not be enough people to financially support this system, support expansion and support increasing pay of all these people if we don't accept these crazy fans. That is
We're not saying
ultimately the
not
bottom
accept
line.
them, but not tolerate and
No, they
normalize.
need to ban them. They
We
need
try
to
to
ban them.
control
That's what I'm
it.
saying.
I mean,
Because
They
we
it's
get
have to
like,
banned.
control
These
it.
fans get banned.
Yeah.
They get banned when they do this stuff in
Yeah.
men's sports too.
Well, yeah,
you
but
know,
like all these crazy fans throwing trash bags, they're all wearing jerseys. I mean, that's $100 on their body that they paid the NBA to get that jersey on. I mean,
so
I mean,
basically,
it's super messed up, but it's like, what are you
it's
gonna
not
do? You
super
know,
messed up because this is the normal. This is like this is a reality conversation.
this is
I'm just
Earth.
making sure we're on the same page as in like. So basically, and I don't think again.
I mean,
The
but we live
people.
in a
I don't think.
society where they shoot up grocery stores and movie school, and schools and movie
I don't know
theaters.
if they're
Yeah,
gonna go down fighting because the WNBA is so different, dynamic wise, than the NBA and the NFL and these other leagues as well. Like it's a crossroads type of conversation that we're in right now. And how did it follow suit? Because I don't.
I mean,
It's
like we had the capital of the United States stormed by civilians. So it's like
yeah.
it's really it's really difficult
I
to
mean,
try and
you
like
know,
our society in general is just not well behaved. I'm talking about America. This is
it,
not.
it, it sounds
For sure.
unfortunate, but like, I mean, I don't know if you guys follow. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys don't follow like esports. Like, I follow esports.
Oh, esports is crazy.
I
Them boys
follow a
go
particular
crazy.
esport with a particular world champion team. They have the craziest, flakiest fans that don't watch anything but this one team. And when they lose, you got to get everybody but their like star player off the team, and their management's stupid, their coach is stupid, but when they win the championship, everyone else sucks. Like everyone's a horrible.
People are
So
weird.
it's literally like,
Yes,
but
Justice.
but it's
People are
it's just it's a
weird.
normal frustration amongst esports fans to just be like, wow, we have a extremely uneducated fan base that doesn't know anybody but 5 players in the entire league, right? Just the 5 players on that one team. We don't know any other player on any other team. We don't know who won the versus the Aces versus the Sun last night. We don't even know who they are, but we know that our team plays tomorrow. Everyone's gonna watch it, and that's just gonna be the way it is. They're extremely toxic, but I've never heard anybody ever criticize them and tell them, hey, like we gotta like, I mean, people complain and try to police them on the internet, but I mean, it is what it is because ultimately they fund a lot. I mean, they're like they pay
But
money
it
for the
can't be
sport.
that. It can't be
I
it.
know they shouldn't be
Yeah, I
that,
know.
but it's
Yeah, of
it's just
course. But that's what
reality.
I'm saying in our society. That's what it is as a whole.
Well,
So
it's society. We justify and let weird behavior pass for money.
we,
Like,
I'm not. I mean, I don't want it. I don't think anybody else
oh
gonna.
no, I know we all don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh, you're
You
talking about.
don't want
sometimes
it, but
mistake
yeah,
my passion for
Yeah.
me like scream. I'm like, no, I'm just a passionate person. This is just I'm
Oh no, you're
really
good.
this is
You're
how it
good.
comes off.
You're good. So I'll ask y'all this. So speaking of, do y'all feel like this rivalry is good for the game between Clark and Reese?
Again, it makes money, so it's not good. It's not good. Depends on who you are and how you're looking at it. If you are Kathy Engelbert, it's great. This is
yeah,
fantastic. If
right.
you're like me and has a
It's
moral
true.
compass, and I'm like, yo, there's so many great things capitalized. Like, there's drama, not just with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. If you want some drama, there's tons of it. Man,
Yeah,
I'd be marketing the living daylights out of that Seattle Aces game. I'd be hyping up Jewel Lloyd. Why? Hey, leaving Seattle sporadically? You know what I mean? You were drafted there. Like, you want some drama? There is some drama that is organic that you can go and find some stories and push them. This one that's not rooted in racism. This one, I feel like it's just a little played out. I understand scare money don't make money, 2.77 million. I get it. Those numbers you can't emulate. But I also think that there are some other areas that we can also capitalize off of or, enjoy. Like, we know the WNBA, they get active. This is a frisky league. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be Caitlin and Angel,
I
And I
think.
think we're just lazy.
I think to kind of push back, I think it does have to be the two of them. I think that they are the
Why?
leaders. I think that they're the leaders of this new face of the WNBA. For as many people as they say Caitlyn is the face of the league, I also feel like Angel is one of them as well. And obviously, you're wearing an Asia Wilson shirt. Shout out to A1, who she's the
fake sauce.
she stands in like I said, that's all might. She's in another plateau in herself. But I feel like as far as like the leaders of the new school, it's the two of them, and I feel like they're the two that are going to usher the WNBA into a new era moving forward. So to answer
I
the
mean,
question,
because
do I feel like it's growing the game? Yes. Do I feel like it will be?
Should they do a better job of promoting and elevating the rest of the league?
Yes.
but
I mean,
like
obviously, yeah.
Well,
Angel and
I'm just
Caitlin,
reading the
like,
questions that you
Oh
posted.
yeah,
but to
yeah,
your
yeah,
point,
yeah.
but to your point, when it being like, is this able to like, can we continue to milk this for the next 10
Yes.
years?
Probably
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I think
How?
you can.
How?
The
But I'm
Angels
saying
team has
like,
to get better. That the
but
answer
I'm
your
saying, but
question,
like,
Angels team has to get better.
it's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
It
So
has. I know it will happen because I know
I'm
the
just
type of
saying, but
worker
like,
she is.
when we're saying like, what would help too is if your stars were on board with the beef. You know what I mean? Like, you actively have two people who are fighting against the narrative. You know what I mean? When think about everyone brings up Larry Bird and Magic, who bought into the beef. You know what I mean? If this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Cool. You have somebody who is actively two people fighting against the beef. One person who also has been like, yo, this is trash for me. So that already makes it difficult. I just think that if there was a way for us to find another storyline organically that, it would make so much more sense that you wouldn't have to do the work for it. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't even a beef between Angel and Caitlyn right now.
I
This is a
agree.
beef between what?
Fan
Who?
bases.
They're not even beefing against each other.
I know,
This is
but
this is such a funny like take because I always hear this stuff about like eclectic things. Like this is such like a hipster take. Can we find like another interesting story like that's going on here? Like who cares about Drake versus Kendrick, or who cares about like this versus that? It's like let's look for more interesting organic storylines. I think it is. I think the more interesting thing is 2.7 million people watched that game. What does that say about America?
it means they
They
want to
love
watch
drama
more of
and
the two of
racism.
them. They want to watch more of the two of them.
No racism.
That
America was built on racism,
it's
and
more, yes, it's more like interested in that than
yeah, we're
like a
interested in
game.
drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping something's going to pop off. We really don't care. You guys
Yes.
know Chicago Sky was not going to beat the Indiana Fever. You know what I mean? Like, were you tapped in? Well, I didn't know
Probably
that
not.
actually. I was really hoping
Probably
for
not,
Chicago.
but
But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people are fueled by their hate and disdain for certain players more than wanting to just enjoy good basketball. Let's keep it a
right.
buck.
Yeah.
Well, Jambari, I wrote some things down like would you this question, should we how should we elevate and promote others people or stars in the league? Were we asking this question of Sosa, Maguire in 98, Jordan in 98, Tiger for
Right.
golf, Gordon for NASCAR, Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer? Tennis ran with that for 22 years, and Djokovic is almost retired. Serena versus Sharapova, Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, Lance Armstrong. These are literally one player, one sport, and we don't know anyone else from that sport. And they run for it for decades. I think it's a blessing ultimately. I mean,
To have multiple.
I'm a very
Problem with
like
Caitlin Clark,
math
you know?
like foundational guy. Like it's I mean, this is a blessing for them, you know?
I agree. And then
Great.
you get two
I think
different demographics watching the sport.
I have no problem with the Caitlin Clark effect because I know it's real. I worked a basketball camp last summer. I was there. I had, it was a wide range from like second grade to like high school. And they could wear jerseys. I saw at least 30 girls in Caitlin Clark jerseys. I was in Illinois. It's real. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who tells you that shit's not real, they're lying. They're delusion. They're delulu. I have no problem capitalizing on it, but I encourage us not to be lazy with it. You know what I mean? As in, this ain't gonna shake for because what if Caitlyn gets hurt? What if this? You know what I
Then
mean?
Angel
So
holds
you
it
don't want
down.
to put.
Dude, we talk about this all the
But
time. Yeah.
I'm saying, like putting all your eggs in one
Yeah.
basket. That's I think Unrivaled was fantastic. Was who your heavy? Well, there wasn't no heavy hitters in Unrivaled. Well, everybody was kind of like a level playing field, honestly. But I'm just saying, I have no problem with us
Yeah.
promoting Caitlyn, utilizing her because scared money don't make money. I'm all about marketing. I'm all about bringing in more fans. You cannot deny. You can't deny it. You'll be delusional. But I encourage us not to be lazy and put all our eggs in one basket. This is an opportunity to utilize her as a vehicle to also capitalize on other players as well. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to just like all those players you just listed. How smart would it have been if they at the same time? Because who are you talking about? Well, there's Coco Golf and stuff like that. But like when one person ushers out, where's the NFL? I mean, the NBA talking about who's up next after LeBron? And I don't want to be the face of the NBA. I don't want to be the face of the NBA. You know what I mean? Y'all, if they had a
Yeah.
plan B, a plan C, you know what I'm saying, was ushering some
Yeah.
other stories who organically would be the next, we wouldn't have this problem. So I just encourage the WNBA not to be lazy with the opportunity we have with Caitlyn and Angel because what the NCAA has showed us already is there are fantastic players and storylines in a lot of excitement with some NCAA players. Sarah Strong and KK aren't like people know these players in the NCAA by name and are excited for them. Like we're going to continue to usher into that as they get into the WNBA. And I just invite us to just not be lazy with the opportunity.
So what you just hit on something great. I'm sorry, Jambari, but
No, you're
like
good.
you hit on something just great, which is like passing the mantle, passing the torch onto the next person. And what you're really describing is fan conversion. How do we get these people that are not watching the sport, that are watching Caitlyn, but be interested in someone else, and we maintain that fan for the rest of their life? And a lot of it has to do with, I mean, the great irony in that is that the conversion from the generation before Caitlyn wasn't she wasn't handed off like they could have handed it off to Caitlyn and Reese a little bit better, which including them on the Olympic team last year.
Mm.
Why weren't they
Mm,
included on it?
mm.
Because what you're describing is correct. What you're describing is fan conversion. Get them interested in everybody to get the fan for life. But the previous generation, why did we leave? Why did we keep Tarasi on that Olympic team and
He
not
loved.
put? No, I'm serious.
Go, go, go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Because
Keep
that's
going.
what justice is describing fan conversion. We're trying to move because the US men's team had the same fucking problem, which is they put Curry, Durant, and LeBron on the team, and it was like the big three played that, and Tatum didn't get to play, Tyrese didn't get to play, and now
They
it's like Ant-Man
won.
doesn't want to be face of the league. Where it's like there was no handing off the baton, from the previous generation, which is the great irony, because now that Caitlin's here, we need to try to hand the baton off to these extra players as well to
But I'm
keep
not
the
even saying
fan.
hand the baton essentially too, because we're right under them. You got paid, like we're all on the same level. I'm just saying sharing the wealth a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because again, you do have a lot of people who are pushing back. Not that ice cream flavor is not everybody's favorite flavor. It isn't. You know what I mean? So force feeding somebody Caitlin Clark and you're gonna eat this shit. Like people are already being like, I
What?
don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
What
I
is
don't want
that?
it. Yeah, just eat this shit. Everyone's like, bump that. Like giving them some different options, I
Okay.
think is good. Give us a three. Give us a three. What's it look like to give us three? A four, two.
Well,
Like
that goes back to what I was saying about it's good to have both of them growing the game. Because if you don't like
and that's what
Kaylin,
I'm
you can
saying.
like Angel. If you don't like
Why
Angel, then
does
you
it
can
have to
like
be on
Paige.
rivalry is great. Like maybe again, maybe I just don't like
It's
again
a good
every season
conversation.
I have a new word that I hate. I hate last season was double double and it was generational. I couldn't stand stop talking about I don't want to hear nobody talk about generational. I stopped using the word. Stop
Jabari's
using
favorite
double double.
word.
Yeah,
Oh my
because
god.
Angel
This
Reese is
year,
also that.
oh my
Keep going.
goodness. And it's just it was more so the dialogue that was associated where I was like I don't want to hear nobody say double double one more time, please. And this year,
I actually hate the
that
word
word
generational too. I hate generational basketball player
oh
and I hate the phrase generational wealth. That's
my
just,
god.
bro, that's just a cop out for people wanting to be greedy. Like, that's all it is.
Rival.
That's all it is.
Rival's
Bro, I'm
my
just
word
keeping
this
it all for
season.
myself.
I don't
I
want to hear a
hate it. I
damn
hate
thing
it,
about a
bro.
rivalry. Damn thing about a rivalry. Because what they should have done is we're so focused on this Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, who probably, let's be honest, after seeing the they might not even be the championship. What they should have been capitalizing on, which low hanging fruit, if we're just talking about, again, capitalize on the product of the WNBA. And like for the people who don't believe in it, damn, you guys had game 5 go down to the wire on a crappy call that they end up losing, and you had both these teams bringing back 95% of their team. That is an organic rivalry. I think the WNBA did a fantastic job of capitalizing on that Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty rivalry. Now, back 3 years ago,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
pretty good.
Yeah.
fantastic. Because for somebody, even me, who I have no stake in the game, I had to draw. I had to pick a favorite. I had to pick a team. I felt some type of way. And
Right.
then you had the shoes situation pop on top of that too. Like it was organic, it was authentic, and you felt not just between the star players, the disdain, but you felt the whole team get on board about what was going down, about the rivalry between them. And I don't think that both teams of Chicago Sky and the NN Fever are like, all smoke on deck when it comes to each other.
No, not yet. They got to be better. They can't be until they're better.
But I'm saying, like, what do we be like?
They were last year. They were definitely last year. But this year, they're
Oh
not.
yeah, you have again,
Yeah.
but again, the storyline fit the emotion. You know what I mean? Like you had Kennedy, Chuck, Caitlin, and da 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 da. Now it's just not Angel. Now it's just not. You know what I mean? Now you got multiple pieces in there. That yes, that was I think the rumblings of an authentic disdain or rivalry for each other. When I ask you a question and I go, "How do you feel about this player?" There's no way you can look at me and tell you like that lady. You know what I mean? Or you don't care about it. But it's authentic. And I think that's just a difference a little bit. But
No, is it growing the game or is it distracting from it?
it's growing. Both. Can both things be true?
Yeah, of course.
Do you
Yeah.
think that they're promoting this? This sounds crazy. Do you feel like they're promoting Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese together and separately enough? Do you think they don't put them enough in our face?
I
Should they be
think
in our face
Caitlyn's.
even more?
I think Caitlyn is promoted separately. I think Angel is always promoted associated with Caitlyn.
I think people try to make it like that. I think Angel also has opportunities. Like she was in a Super Bowl commercial for
For
herself.
sure.
She
I
was
think her
on.
marketing,
Yeah.
she does
Oh, then
also,
yeah, that's
but
what
they
I'm
don't
referring
focus
to.
on that. They don't
That's what I'm
focus on that. She
referring
was
to.
the only
Yeah,
WNBA player to
that's
get
what
a
I'm referring to.
McDonald's thing. Da, da,
Yep,
da, da.
that's
She is
exactly what I was
the
talking about. Yep.
But she has to
all
do
this
that
stuff. Like
herself. She has to
Even
do
the
that
she
by
Met
has
Gala,
herself,
the Met
though.
Gala. Yeah, that's
so
Yeah,
exactly
much
what I'm
she's doing
referring
stuff
that
that
to.
herself.
they could be capitalizing on the storyline. And I think her fan base understands what she brings to the table. But when we talk about mass stream, when they talk about Angel Reese, they're not talking about all those other things. They're
Yeah, they do
talking
it in
about
comparison to Caitlyn all the time.
boom, that part.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But then I feel like shout out to the Reese's Pieces. They do the same thing too.
They try. They try their best.
Yeah.
They try their best. Sorry, I'm just trying to lead pass.
Yeah, I'm popping that on too because Paige is playing right now. All right, let's speaking of Paige, we could because we actually yeah, we could yeah we'll move on. So how do you feel like the Wings could build a winning identity around Bueckers without stunning her growth?
I mean, it's just gonna take time, isn't it? Like, I mean, she
Sorry, let
had.
me mute this.
I mean, she had 2 games and she played pretty well. You know.
She played fantastic the last game, but I
Yeah.
think what they have to understand too, what people, and again, this is why I always go to bat for Paige Bueckers. That is
You might be right too, though.
and I saw it firsthand in the game when she had her she could have took a three. It was late in the game. She could have took up a three, and she ended up driving and passing it to I think like a JJ or something like that. And I'm like, unselfish, completely so unselfish. Where Enrique, Caitlyn, a lot of people would have took that three because it wasn't a bad shot. It wouldn't have been a bad shot, but always passing up your shot to get off to hopefully. And I understand people's critique when they're like, but like right now, Dallas Wings again. We're only 2 games in. I think they're still trying to figure out that offense identity. I think Paige is trying to figure out too what her role needs to be. Like that first game, I bet it. You know what I'm saying? I said Paige's gonna get 14. Listen, assists and rebounds. My good sis is gonna fill that stat line every single time.
Yeah.
And I think that I still don't think they have a big. I'm eager to see what the German player does and what she's able to bring. I think Tara McCowan played with a little chip on her shoulder last game. After only playing 5 minutes, I just don't think they have an offensive identity. I think Enrique also is trying to figure out what does this look like for me, because shot selection, boo boo. My good sis, sometimes again, I understand trying to get yourself going and things like that, but also understanding what does the team need. You have a dangerous weapon where you don't have to do it all anymore. You know what I mean? Like you don't got to be the killer. Like you can kill, but you don't have to be the killer 24/7. You have somebody who will also give you the ball right back. Like how to utilize Paige correctly to benefit your game. I think that's the biggest piece right now. Why are you're 2 places at once?
One of you is moving, one of you's not.
Oh, I left the stream. I can't see. I mean,
there you are.
Oh,
which me?
I know.
Which me is me?
All right. You're good
You're
now.
back. You're back.
It's just one of me now. Okay, but I guess if I can answer that question, the only thing that I feel like it's weird. You're right. So they need more cohesiveness and reps on the team between Paige and just everyone. I feel like and this is why I say Justice. I think I'm not saying that she will be better than Caitlyn, but when you said that you would start a franchise with Paige, I can understand what you mean. Because she's complete as a point guard. Like defensively, she's been guarding everybody. She's been guarding Fee. She's been guarding Ezzy. She's been guarding Skylar. She's not bad at anything.
She's not bad at anything.
You could build around her easily.
Her shot is mad efficient. She's really intelligent. She's patient.
Yeah.
She can pass. She can shoot. She can score. Like she does everything on the court.
She's not bad at anything.
And this,
what about what was the question become like when it comes to Paige? I think what makes her different than Caitlyn. I know if I put Caitlyn on a team, I have to build around Caitlyn. I know if I put Paige on a team, she can effortlessly fit into what I got going on, and she's going to make it work somehow.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. It gets accomplished differently. We were talking about system players. You know what I mean? Paige Bueckers is a system player. I think that's where she's a little bit struggling. She's a little struggling on Dallas Wings because you're coming from UConn where it's Hey, get down. We run the play, move the ball, set a screen, move away, use the clock. You're not coming down shooting and one mixtape. You know what I mean? Caitlin, I think, is a little more loose. She can get down like that. As in, I'm shooting 30 seconds the clock. I'm shooting a logo three, and that's acceptable because, like, baby, that's what I do. Caitlin has a little Enrique to her. And I think that's a little difficulty when it comes to finding what is your team's identity. Is did Enrique just score 3? Perfect, because I have the over on her on threes tonight. Yes, good sis. You'll get that leg back tonight. That's what I'd like to see. I need to make at least 2 of them. But just saying, just like, I think 100% identity wise, but Paige just effortlessly fit into a system, and I think it's easy to build around her in that capacity. As opposed to Caitlin, I'm going to have to maybe rebuild a team to fit her style of play.
She's like Chris Paul like that, right? Like almost like she could just kind of she could
Play
man
anywhere.
like any team. Yeah, she could play faster. She could play slower. She could. I think as she gets older, she'll get really good where she's like literally like directing traffic more. You know what I'm saying? Also, Ariki's never gonna play this bad, like
I
probably
agree.
ever again. You know, like I mean,
Her
but
scoring
like
may go down lower this season, but I don't think bad in terms of scoring 8 points.
yeah, I think she had shot like 14% from the field or something the other night, which is like that's not gonna happen, you know, probably ever for the rest of the season. So it's only
That was
just
like
two
when
games, you know.
Gabby Williams went 1 for 9.
Yeah, that's not always gonna happen, and it's only been 2 games, but I mean, the first 2 games were pretty impressive, especially the last one by
The
Paige.
last one for sure. But yeah,
For
I
sure.
think it, and it's funny. It's a small sample size, but she plays. It is a small sample size, obviously, because Enrique's been playing not too well. But she's been playing a lot more aggressive. That's the only thing I want to see more out of her is just playing more aggressive. Because like sometimes I'm watching her, I'm like shoot the ball, and then like she does.
Start
Especially her
passing.
last game, she started shooting a lot more. Which I spoke with her about pregame. I'm like, what's your thought process before these games? And she's like, oh, I'm not trying to force my spots, this and that. And
Right. Yeah.
but
She
they
she
need
has
Jabari,
that
you.
what do
like
you
They
do?
need
Like,
advanced
you
you
to
don't mind me
force those
technology.
asking.
spots if they're gonna have a chance to win. They're gonna need you to force those spots. So I'm happy she kind of understood and started picking it up, and that's what they need. That might be her the next part of her growth is learning when to kind of
I mean,
dominate and take over. So
Yeah.
but Jabari, to point, I think that's breaking out of the UConn system. Like, think about Fee. You know what I mean? When you're in
yeah,
UConn, you kind of get not clamps on you, but you got to play in a box a little bit.
Structure.
We are a well-oiled machine. You cater your game to what we got going on here. And I think for a lot of UConn players, when they get to the WNBA, they get that box. Hey, step out that box. You got a green light. Go do what you got to
yeah,
do.
this ain't
And
UConn
that's what we
anymore.
saw with Fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't got to be you are the system.
You don't have Sarah Strong, and then you passing the ball around the wheel, and it's gonna come back with you with 10 seconds on the clock.
Boom.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I think a lot for we say it with a lot of you, and I say we a lot of UConn players, but like for real, like even Gabby, you know what I mean? Like you got a lot of people who are playing a little real. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird,
Tarasi was
Maya Moore.
Tarasi is she's like I'm bump that I am
But if you look at their
Tarasi.
numbers,
Yeah.
but
Tarasi is
I'm
like
talking about
Caitlyn
looking at their
in
numbers in
that regard.
college.
She's shooting that
Like
thing.
for
She
for
broke
the
out
fact
pretty
that they
quickly
even said
from
like in
that mold.
college, Paige Bueckers was like one of the leaders, and Paige wasn't even getting off scoring 100% like game wise. So I'm saying like Maya Moore's even scoring. Like everybody's game is tamed at UConn because we're in a system, and there's a lot more players who
Oh,
are.
for sure.
So I think that's what we're going to see in the WNBA,
There's
especially.
probably players in her. I mean, people that are in her ear telling her to, you know, be more aggressive. But it's also tricky when you have like Enrique as your like backcourt mate. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
been
Like you
doing
got one
any.
of the most.
Enrique is not hindering Paige. You know what I'm
No,
saying? She's not
I'm not
doing
saying she's hindering her, but if that's like your option, you know, on the wings, like you know,
More like Enrique, for them to win, Enrique got to get off too, though. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
they both have to score. Yes, they're
yeah,
both gonna
Enrique
need
got
to
to
go
get
for
off. So
20.
like.
Yeah,
Not even hindering. I need my good sis to make sure she's pulling her weight. You're not holding me back. I need you to come with me on TikTok about Dominique Malonga because we were on live and you weren't the only one, but there was a plethora of people who were watching the Seattle game and were upset that she wasn't playing. And I just constantly and reminded, well, one, when she got drafted, I was like, not sold. You know what I mean? For one, Seattle needed a 3 guard. They needed a 2 or a 3, a score. They didn't need another big. So already I was skeptical.
That is
But there
true.
was a lot of uptick in convo about Dominique being the next XYZ, da-da-da-da-da. And I think Seattle took the bait instead of not drafting based upon their needs, but drafting based upon
So you think they should have got
outside.
Sonya?
Yes, I think look at the Seattle Storm right now. Do you think they could benefit from having Sonya Citron on their team?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think she
I
would
think
fit
a lot of teams
seamlessly.
would benefit from having Sonya Citron on
Thank
their
you.
team.
But with the number 2 pick and what direction Seattle needed, I think if Olivia Miles was available, they wouldn't have drafted Dominique. I think if Olivia Miles was still available, they would have took her at number 2. I think people weren't sold on Sony being a number 2 pick. I think that's why they passed him up, and everybody was talking about Malonga being the next. But I was trying to reiterate to people that, like, I am a data, I am a stat, I am a creature of habit. How did we get here? And the WNBA, in 29 years of the league being around, there has only been one international player to come over
Lauren
and
Jackson.
immediately make an
Lauren
impact
Jackson.
at
Lauren Jackson.
19, and that is Lauren Jackson.
Lauren Jackson.
In
Yeah, Lauren
29
Jackson.
years. So, excuse me if I was a little skeptical about everyone saying that this 19-year-old was going to come around and dog walk people at, from jump. I was trying to position the conversation that this is going to be a crock pot pick. We're going to need it because, again, not only that, but the fact she's playing against the WNBA is dominated by 4s and 5s. So every night she's going against the biggest, the baddest, the strongest
players.
every single night.
Yeah.
It's a whole new, and so you throw that on top of the fact she's 19. There's only one 19-year-old in the NCAA right now, besides, that's a post player that could probably hang. But I still think she was strong, and that's Sarah Strong. And what does that tell you? You know what I mean? So my skepticism and people are being like, she needs to get more minutes. Seattle Storm is not in a rebuild. They're not. Noelle Quinn's on her 4th year. She is in a Anita Cook type of situation. You know what I mean? She doesn't have, and then with 2026 coming around, everybody is going to be a free agent. So her job's on the line. So where everyone's like that she needs to be given Dominique Malonga, if you're not ready, you are not ready.
But she is ready. She's more, I feel like, and I like Leah Rue, but I'm like, you can't draft her at number 2 and not play her. That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
But like Minnesota,
no sense.
the best teams do it every single time. Now
it's
the only
an
difference
interesting
is
argument. Yeah.
You gotta play her. She's playing 2 minutes a game.
Why? If you're not,
because she's playing 2 minutes a game.
She's not. She played
not,
10 minutes.
We don't know if she's not ready
because
we don't see her play.
She played 10 minutes, but she played. We have 2 games, right? Our first evidence is the first game. She played 10 minutes and had 0 rebounds.
Let me make sure of that because I thought she played 2.
So here's a question: Would you
2 points and 0 rebounds?
Was she worth
10 minutes?
Would you have? Would you have? Okay, so let's say she is as good as we think she could be. Would it be worth drafting her and stashing her for a couple years?
Hell yeah.
Yes, they should have stashed her 100%. But she didn't want to be stashed. She said
I don't
up
blame
front
her. She want to play.
But she's getting drafted to Seattle, so also understand too, that's a lottery pick. So usually that pick is going to a team that's ass. Usually. So yes,
Dominique played 2 minutes and had 2 points, 1 rebound. Let me see the other game.
They got one of the better front lines in the whole league.
I mean, yeah.
So I'm saying, like, she's going to a team.
Yeah, the first one she played 10 minutes. Yeah, you're right. So
10 minutes, 0 rebounds, 2 points. That doesn't earn you more confidence in your coach. That doesn't earn you. And again, we're only going on a 2-game thing. But even people talk about Lee. Go look at Lee's stats the first game. So Lee did struggle in that second game, but her first game earned her more confidence to give her more opportunity.
I like Leah Rue. She could play.
And we already were explaining that she's not playing over Ezzy and she's not playing over NECA. And right now, she's not playing over Lee. So, like, that's why I was saying
she need to get some of those minutes, though. She need to get some minutes.
She needed to go to a different team. She needed a team that needs a big.
Dallas.
There's a plethora of teams that should have drafted that could have utilized her differently. But like people are complaining when you know what it is. Like again, Seattle's not in a rebuild. They're not playing somebody who's not ready. Just like Cheryl's not playing nobody who's not ready, just like Brondell's not playing nobody, you are going to sit the pine until you are, baby. We're winning. We're trying to win. And people say Seattle's on a championship contending team. Seattle's also not in a position to lose games as well, because we know in the WNBA, 1 game could take you out of playoff contention. They would have lost that game by giving potentially, let's say hypothetically, if they would have played her 15 minutes last time and she got beat on this and this and this, we lost that game. That could take us down the line out of playoff contention or make us play first opening round, the Phoenix Mercury or the Indiana Fever. Like, these games matter for certain teams like Seattle. And so I just,
So the
drafting
question
her at number
now is
2.
like, what do you do if you're Seattle? Like, you already drafted her, so now what?
You got a player. Like, you got a player.
Hey, they're
Shout
not
out to
playing her. She's not ready. I hope my good sis get
shout
in the
out.
gym and get some reps up. And get some confidence in Quinn that she's not going to go over there and choke that hoe. Because, like, at the end of the day, she's not playing her if you're going to be a liability. We can't lose. My job's on the line. What am I, you going to take food out of my kid's mouth? I'm going to lose my job if we are ass.
So
You're
I'll
locked
say
in for 4 years.
that was one of my biggest surprises that she's not playing. Another one I'd say is that the Washington Mystics, which I think is fool's gold.
Oh yeah, that's a crazy surprise. That's a
I
crazy
think
start.
that's fool's gold. But I love the fact I knew Kiki was going to start from day one. I said that from Jump Street, and I knew Sonya was going to start. So I'm happy for both of them. I'm happy that they're both dominating.
Almost down. Sorry.
Sykes averaging
But
24 and a half,
It's crazy.
25 points a game.
But you guys know the Mystics, they're going to play hard last season. Ass. But they were going to dogfight you every type of the way. Trash. Mystics are
Why
trash.
you calling
They're going to
them
give you a run
ass?
for your money.
What do you say, Jordan? Ass sharpens ass.
Iron sharpens iron, and ass sharpens ass.
That's it.
You're not going to go out here and just smack us. So I appreciate about the Mystics. And again, they got some players who obviously can Sonya, Kiki, could you imagine if Georgia Amore? Because I think they struggle. I had to circle back and apologize to Jade Melbourne. That's my bad, Jade. You did some good things in that
I knew
last
she was
game.
good. I knew she was going to be good.
But I don't think she's their starting point guard. I think Georgia will be starting over her. Because you
Oh,
can
of
see them
course.
bouncing between. Yeah. Could you imagine if Georgia's out there too? I think if the Mystics buy into this young core, and unlike the Indiana Fever when they drafted five rookies and got rid of majority of all of them, if they buy in and invest with this young core, they're going to see the fruits of their labor down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to have a Minnesota Lynx type situation potentially.
Speaking of Lynx, I want to ask y'all, unless you have something else to add to that. One of the Lynx, one of the teams that's getting ready to try and compete against Minnesota and try and dethrone them. Obviously, I know they didn't win, but I mean, just take their spot as a representative in the Western or in the finals. What do y'all think the Las Vegas Aces need to do to get more from their roster to help Asia?
What did you think about last night?
Consistent help. What I think about last night is they played one of the worst teams in the league, and they should do exactly what they did.
That's actually, I mean, you could pretty much pencil that in. I feel like for like a top 2 pick in next year's draft or whatever, because that team's bad. That team's
Connecticut.
bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
I mean, they might not even be there next year, right?
No, they're not. They're
probably going to get bought. They're going to go. But I think
bring them to Miami. Miami Soul, baby. Miami Soul.
You think it's going to be a kind of a situation? Damn. Do you think it's going to be kind of a situation like the Mystics with just building around their young pieces?
What young pieces?
I mean, they got Anissa and they got
Sanaya, and JC. We're going to have to get some more pieces.
No, not JC Sheldon. I just think, not even JC. Not saying JC's expendable, but JC is one of those players like a Natasha Cloud, Sophie Cunningham, where if somebody has to get traded and we got to get a solid piece to get something back, we're going to use her in the trade.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
You're not somebody that we are no negotiable. This is what are you offering? Because we can load her up. You don't have to give us something for her. That's a nice developed piece. 6-man like that are very hard to come by.
Yeah.
And I think that's where her role is. Like, I think Tosh was a little taken aback a little bit when she ended up getting traded like that because she thought she was locked in like that. I said, no, baby, you are the expendable piece. You are you're really good. Not good enough to be our lottery, but good enough that we're going to get something good for you. So yeah, if it comes down to it, I can see JC bouncing around a little bit in her future and career in the WNBA. But in terms of them having a lottery pick, for sure. Connecticut is going to have to, the tank is on.
Where do you even start? Like,
you don't, you just got to keep tanking.
Yeah.
Mezzanine, is that how you pronounce his last name? Mezzanine?
Rashad Mezzine, yeah. Something like that.
Mezzine? I think he has adapted kind of because again, when I read in the articles about his style of play and what he does well, it's that he takes not the biggest names and he makes them big names. Not big names, but he works what he has and he has them buy in. I think we saw it in the first game where we were surprised that they went toe to toe like that because I just thought they were going out there and get smacked. So that like the buy in in that not taking like the biggest shiniest piece and making them, they're not going to be contenders and they're not going to be great, but they're going to have a lot of fight in them. But playing the Aces, well, they're playing the Aces. They're going to get smacked like that against the Aces, the Lynx in New York every single
Liberty,
time. But
yeah.
everybody else, though, I think that they have enough pieces to play hard enough that they can mix it in a little bit. Not win, mix it in.
We're gonna have to see. So, but yeah, is there any hope for Asia A1 trying to not do everything this year, or is it gonna have to be a repeat of last year?
She's gonna have to put on a clinic every single night.
Yep. So it's the same story.
Clinic.
Yep.
I mean,
Same
if Jewel
story.
hits all them threes like that, then I guess
She
they
didn't hit
could.
them. She didn't hit them against New York.
Yeah, she
I
didn't.
mean,
No, she had
consistent.
5 points against them.
Right.
Jewel has
Yeah.
to be consistent. Jewel has to be consistent.
Jackie Young has been the most
Jackie.
consistent next to Asia so far.
Yeah,
I think
Jackie Young's
Jackie's
played
a
really
dog.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie's a dog.
It's time to. Hey, I told y'all last year they got to. They look the fire. If I were them, I'm getting ready for the fire sale. All of them gotta
Liz?
go. All of them gotta go. Not named Young and Wilson, and maybe Aaliyah Nye. All of them.
Even Chelsea Gray?
The fire sale got to start.
Damn, you getting rid of Chelsea?
I'm not getting rid of
Even
her.
Jewel?
You just said
Just got there.
expendable. You said expendable.
And
You think
Jewel
Chelsea
too?
Gray's
You said the
expendable?
expendables. Look, and then they go, "Oh, you don't like Kelsey J." Like, no, this has nothing to do with
I didn't
that.
say that. I'm just thinking like we put her on the top. I would have kept. I
Look,
mean,
you have
point
about
guard
4
wise.
more years of prime, 5, maybe. Actually, you're probably gonna have like 6 or 7 years of prime Asia. And the question is Asia and Chelsea on the same timeline still anymore?
Timelines.
Chelsea's still
True.
top 5 point guard in
another
the
word I
WNBA.
hate.
Wouldn't you think?
Is Chelsea Jordan? I'm gonna let him answer that first before I answer.
Jordan, is Chelsea still one of the top 5 point guards in the WNBA?
Probably, but it's only because it's such a small league. But I mean, if Chelsea
Well,
Gray's
I mean, the
Kelsey
conversation's the
Plum.
conversation.
Is Kelsey Plum? Would you pick Kelsey Plum?
I would, yeah.
Would you put
I'd pick
Sabrina?
Caitlin. I think I
like Chelsea.
think I would put Sabrina. I'd put Sabrina.
Would
I'd
you
put
put
Caitlin. I'd
Caitlin?
put yes.
Would you put Paige?
to work with.
So that's right where it gets like I maybe. That's 4.
That's my point. And then like I'm not. I just don't want to keep naming people, but I'm like
That's
Natasha.
kind of where she is, though, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm putting her in
don't
front of
know.
Sabrina. I mean, I still think she's at least 4. Maybe not in front of Caitlin. She's in front of. I put her in front of Sloop. I put her in front of like
front of
we're talking
Sloop,
about
yeah.
what the body of work can look like. I think she's at least 4. I put her in front of Sabrina.
I wouldn't put her in front of Sabrina.
I wouldn't. And I'm not the biggest Sabrina fan either.
I wouldn't put her in front of Sabrina. Sabrina just made second team All WNBA. Just won a chip.
For the first time
Mama
ever.
mentality. Just this is she has
For
the
the first
mentality.
He's
time
being
ever.
sarcastic. He's being sarcastic. He's being sarcastic. No.
That
Of
shit don't
course, if we're
exist.
talking accolades, of course. If we're talking
I'm
accolades,
just saying,
Kelsey Gray is like
I'm not
top
even
3.
accolades. Not even
Historical
accolades. That's not
yeah.
a good point.
I'm talking
but
about like right now, like today.
right now,
Like 2025.
I truthfully would put Paige before I pick Sabrina. So I got Paige right after Clark.
Paige is younger. Like if
I
we're
got
talking about
Paige right
building
after
around,
Clark.
and yeah,
So,
giving Asia Wilson a nice new
but
red
that's what she
Ferrari.
needs.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what she needs. She needs an athletic, someone new, dynamic. Like, can you imagine if Caitlin were playing with Asia Wilson right now? Like, you understand what I'm saying? She needs that type of guard next to her now. At least
How many of those are
that's
there?
what I
Though?
think. That's what I think. At least how
There's-
many guards
there's-
are there?
I mean, how
They
many
just let
guards
one walk in
like
free
that
agency who
are
dropped
there?
37 on Los Angeles.
Who?
Kelsey.
Kelsey left on her own accord.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I understand. I understand
Like
very well.
Kelsey, but like, but we're saying that like Kelsey's been to Las Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we don't know what Kelsey can do in Vegas because we've seen it.
Yeah,
She's been there. So like, it's not like we're like, damn, I wonder what Kelsey and Asia can do together. We've seen what they can do together. I don't know if that's like crazy, not crazy, but like enough for us to disregard what also Chelsea and Asia can do together.
yeah, no, yeah, I do understand. I just, the front office is gonna have some, they're gonna have some tough conversations because if you can get a young dynamic guard to play alongside Wilson that they can grow with for the next 6-7 years, they need to figure that out sooner than later. Because it's not that I want to see her win, but I want to see her win. Like, I want to see her win more and become the greatest women's basketball player of all time, which I think she's gonna do.
She's in the conversation.
Stewie, I
For
think,
sure.
has a better case for her, honestly. But Yeah, she's gonna have to catch up to Stu at this point, and
I
I
think
think
she's taken. I think the limelight, not limelight, but like has shifted from Stewie. It was on Stewie and shifted to Asia. Although Stewie does have the stronger resume,
she has a much
obviously
stronger
can run it
resume.
back this year. Da 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 da. She's not. When people say who's the best in the world, I haven't heard somebody say Brianna Stewart
Oh no,
recently.
I mean I'm talking about all time. I'm not talking about today. I'm not even talking about
Oh,
yesterday.
even all time. I mean, I understand what you're. Okay, I get what you're saying. I thought
Yeah,
you
I'm
were
talking
talking
all
about like
time.
who's like right now. Like I'm like I haven't
Because
heard
Asia Wilson's the
somebody
best player
in
in
a
the game
minute.
by far. No, yeah,
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say Stewie in a minute.
no, nah.
Didn't we have some crazy number like Stewie has won 7 of the last 12 championships or something like that
She
she's
wins a
played in?
championship every 1.5 years.
Yeah.
1.5 years is another Brianna Stewart championship, and it's
Whatever
looking like
league
another
she's in,
champ.
she with a couple gold medals thrown in there.
Like she's
Casually.
okay. Well,
Oh.
good. Let's speak about the Liberty quickly. Early impressions of them. Are they going to repeat? Because they smacked up Las Vegas. Now it's just Minnesota that they have to.
We got to see him play Minnesota. I
It's a
think
tough.
that's the only competition.
It's a
That's
strong
not
roster.
good. That's not good if that's the only competition. Because they already
I mean,
beat
they're-
them.
I
They already
mean,
beat them.
They're still
They
a
already
really
beat
good
them.
team.
there's a top four, but we know the WNBA is in sectors. You know what I mean? You got your top dogs, you got your middle of the pack, and then you got no chance. You know, and the top
No
dogs are
chance.
top dogs.
The
No
Suns.
chance in hell.
The
You got
Sun.
your. And I'll even put another tier in there, and that's flirting. As in, I might get one game on you, but you're gonna win a series, and that's like your Seattles, and maybe even your. I'm still jury's still out on me, honestly, with Phoenix.
Drake's still
I
out
will
on
give
me
it
for
later.
Seattle. I don't know. Y'all really like
But
that
I'm just
team.
saying, like, may get a game on you. They play you, but you're gonna win a series. And your top dogs, and I think I was when we were talking about Indiana last year, I was like, you guys may get a game on Connecticut, but you're not winning a series. You have not
Right.
entered that conversation of
Right.
that's what makes you a top dog, as in you
You keep saying
no matter
dog,
who
and
it is.
mine's popped up. You kept saying dog.
They said like you can't win a series, and there's 4 teams. 3 right now because I'm skeptical about Indiana, but we know who are 3 teams when it comes down to it: Las Vegas, Connecticut, not Connecticut, Jesus, Las
Connecticut.
Vegas, the
Oh
Lynx,
my
and
goodness.
New York.
Look at the
Those are your
camera
top
from over
dogs right now.